Rickie, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate your time. How would you assess how the tour has found its way back to playing in light of everything that's going on and the spate of positive tests we saw at Cromwell last week?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. The tour's done a great job. When you look at the amount of tests that have been administered and how many guys we're dealing with, and obviously in a perfect world you would have 0 positive tests, but I think with the number that we've had between the PGA Tour and the Korn Ferry, it's very minimal. Obviously, we knew there was going to be some risk involved coming out, but all the measures put in place, we're creating our own bubble, basically here on site at golf courses, whether it was last week in Connecticut to Hilton Head to Colonial and now Detroit. So it's definitely nice being back playing competitive golf, but there's very little energy out here without the fans. As we all know, when it comes to sporting events, the fans are a big part of it. So it's a little quiet, but at least we're back playing and competing.
Well, anybody that knows you and watches you on tour, when they see in your golf shirt, they see that tattoo of the Olympic rings. You were part of the U.S. team that played in Brazil in the Summer Games in 2016. And quite frankly, there was a lot going on there at the 2016 Summer Games. There was a lot of unrest, and there was the potential of the Zika virus and all that stuff. So did that in any way, having to be sort of somewhat sequestered for the Olympics, prepare you for what you're dealing with now?
I guess you could look at it that way. I mean, it was definitely a concern for a lot of people, and going forward into the Rio Olympics, worrying about safety and security measures, and with Zika being around. But once we were down there, and everything was put in place. Another point where the tour did a great job of making sure we had the people around us, making sure we felt safe. We had security with us wherever we went. And as far as Zika went, I mean, I think it was more hyped up on the media side of things. I think I saw one mosquito the whole time I was down there. And, there's going to be risk really any types of places you go. It all just depends on how you go about your business, what time you may be out doing that. And, I think, like I said, like I've mentioned a couple of times, the tour has done a great job, and it's always nice to be back in Detroit for Rocket Mortgage Classic. I have a great partnership with these guys. And, like I said, I think the unfortunate part is just not being able to have the fans involved.
We're talking to Rickie Fowler again in Detroit for the Rocket Mortgage Classic. And I want to get into what their Rocket Mortgage is doing in Detroit. It's a very, very important thing. When Nick Watney tested positive, he was the one, and then that following week, more tested positive. Whether being at a tournament, Rickie, or hearing about it as a golfer, did it give you a little more trepidation of, should I take a little time away, or do I need to be a little more aware of this? Did it change your point of view at all when more positive tests came?
It didn't change my point of view or outlook on it. I mean, we've been taking it very seriously throughout the time off. The first month, basically just stayed home the whole time, did a grocery run once a week, and we had our own little bubble that we created with Justin Thomas and his girlfriend and a couple of our other friends. So that was really the only people we saw. And then out here on tour, you're around more people, but being able to social distance, we got plenty of room on a golf course. So staying away from people, at least far enough away. And you can kind of, in a way, create your own little bubble within the bigger bubble here. So I haven't at any time felt unsafe or like we've been in a bad position.
Yeah, trust me, when Mike and I play, social distancing is not a problem.
Not a problem.
He goes left, I go right. We'll see each other on the green, and nobody touches the stick. It's pretty easy. As Rickie Fowler, as Rickie Fowler is with us. So, Rickie, take us through this season, right? Because you're a guy who's always one of those guys that's around the top of the leaderboard. You have a couple of big major championships under your belt, including the Players' Championship a few years ago. Obviously, we're not going to play the Open Championship this year, but we still have the potential for 3 majors in a very congested time. What's your schedule going to look like going forward as you try and bag that one thing that you came so close to in 2014, that first major win?
Yeah, well, we started back, like you guys mentioned, 3 weeks ago. Played the first 2 weeks and didn't exactly have the start I wanted. You don't want to have weekends off in the golf world, so we're looking to kind of turn things around here in Detroit. And I'm going to play the next 2 weeks, which will be down in just outside Columbus, playing at Muirfield, Jack's place. So next week is that kind of a new event. The John Deere wasn't going to be able to move forward, so I think Workday picked up that week. So having that and then Jack's event, so 2 weeks at Muirfield would be pretty cool. After that, we've got WGC, which is in Memphis for FedEx, and then we've got a major. I'm hoping everything is going to move smoothly because that one's out in San Francisco, which we all know has been a little bit of a hot spot. I know the tour's talked about having some fans at the second week of Columbus, which will be, 2 weeks from now. And I think everything's pretty much on a day-to-day kind of week-to-week basis out here. But like I said, I'm ready to turn my season around with not getting off to the start that I wanted.